and wiped it all out. But first they brought food. They brought food to put everybody in a good mood because they knew they were starving, they were hungry, and at that point, the people there was unfortunately, like I said, I don't like to say things like this, but they weren't going to be living good lives anyways. They were going to be going to waste. They're starving, hungry people. What he did was wrong. He didn't go in there and have everybody euthanized or anything like that, and which wouldn't be right either, because again he was playing God. But he decided to go over there and obviously kill and spill people, torture them, and do all sorts of weird things, and basically make the devil basically show them who the devil was and destroyed everybody. But at that point, they did die. So obviously, the people that died faster were better off than people that got tortured. And at this point, it's a changing world that we're living in. And right now, there's no right now we are protected as American citizens. That we are still free people. We aren't becoming distracted with what's going on. And again, about Adolf Hitler, he was the first person to make reality TV. So Kim Kardashian, all that stuff, is basically Adolf Hitler's work. And he even made 3D movies as well. So obviously, this guy knew that the technology had advanced. It's a changing world, but right now you should appreciate that there is no draft. There is no war on our front. I mean, there's always some sort of things going on back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And where that happens, it's not happening on our front. So you should appreciate that. I think everybody should serve, put their time in for their country, whether it's a small donation, if it's sending out something for the troops, if it's recognizing them, if it's giving them a blessing, if it's giving them advice or something good. I do think everybody should appreciate all the people that do service, that protect us. Obviously, it's a little different when we're talking about other people that are in the government, because you got to be careful who you talk to. But I'll tell you one thing right now: not one person, whoever you are, what you are, where you come from, how you started, and it doesn't matter. If you respect the troops, if you respect the Navy, the Army, if anybody in any of the Air Force, if you respect them and take care of them, nobody's gonna look at you differently. Nobody's gonna judge you. Nobody's gonna think anything of it. So I think they all deserve respect for protecting the country and giving us this freedom that we have, and they should be looked up to and respected. And I believe that everybody should play a part into that. Like I said, it doesn't mean signing up, but it may mean signing up because there's all different areas. And if you're smart enough, they'll take you. And it's not always on. There's men willing to go on the front lines and fight for basically to not. So they might not survive, and they know that in the back of their mind, and they're not afraid to die. They may, and I want to tell them something too. I want to tell the Army and the Marines something. Before you go, start a family first, because this way you have the seed to pass on, and you will respect that, and you can keep that in the back of your mind. So before you go somewhere, before you decide, try to start one. Try to have a family. Try to have a seed, and then go out there and fight, fight for the country and what we do best to keep freedom where it is and alive. So basically, um, I want to shout out right now. I want to shout out the Hilton because they've been taking care of me. We did a couple conferences which was really, really good. Big conferences. We had a couple large meetings. And a lot of people had showed up. I got a nice large clothing company coming up. It's an international brand. Right now, it's not that big in the States, but Japan, Tokyo. I'm staying out of China. I'm trying to work with them, but it's hard. It's hard to negotiate. We're in France, London. Um, we're in Australia. We're in a lot of countries right now. We're trying to always expand. The hardest part right now is just getting into the United States because of everything is so much money. Unfortunately, everybody wants a raise nowadays. Everybody wants more money. When you gotta realize something about life, it's not about more money. It's about having a decent life, having a regular life, having peace of mind in the back of your mind. And basically, once you know that, it's not about just always looking for more. It's about surviving and being able to go to work every day, have a job, and be able to, work and maintain. A lot of people, they're looking up to the celebrities, which is great. It's always good to have that aspect and have somebody to look up to, look forward to, have a dream that's bigger than yourself, that's bigger than what you are. But the thing is, what I want you to know is you might not ever achieve it. So if you're always looking up to that you're looking up to a dream you'll never achieve, you're never going to make yourself happy then. You're always going to be miserable when you go home to your wife. You're going to be mad at her, and then you might even, hey, lash out on her, and because you're not a tough guy, obviously, and in the back of your mind you're weak. You might say, hey, listen, I'm going to lash out on her and teach her some sort of a lesson, which that's also very wrong. And I want to let you know there's always somebody watching. So if you decide, if you have a fiance or a girlfriend or somebody like that, and you decide to lash out against them because you're not man enough to fight another man, you're a disgrace. And eventually, somebody's going to put you in a place, whether it's, somebody that, one of the old spooky wookies that's, ringing your doorbell at nighttime and nobody's there. People will find you, even if it's people that's not around anymore. And basically, there's evil people that I have met personally, unfortunately, which basically, if you go back into the 1800s where I used to live, there was a man there. He used to be a slave owner, and basically, used to work out pretty heavily. Um, I was a pretty strong boxer, ready to take on the world, ready to take on, the heavyweight champion at the time, which was Klitschko. And I was building it up very fast. Basically, I ate grains. I was really chasing. I wanted to do something better. I wanted to basically. I was doing it to save lives. Basically, I wanted to start a gym up that would basically what the gym would do is it's like a gym slash school slash support center for kids, and basically what it would do would be they would be working out, there would be like a little classroom there, so kind of like an extra like side school, but to really teach them about life and motivate them and keep them healthy and keep them out of gangs and bad stuff, and because it's unfortunate nowadays what I've seen, these young kids, and they get caught up in the gangs, and it's not really their fault, and they have to do life in prison, and they're like 12 years old, 10 years old, because they're very easily manipulated, and what happens is whatever, you can figure that out. I'll move on from the topic. It's sad, but at the end of the day, if you're trying to help people, you can't save everyone. So don't just go out there and try to save everyone, and don't be nice to people either, because that's just gets you in trouble. You can't be nice nowadays. So just always have a plan in the back of your mind, but try to make the plan for you. Try to say, hey, listen, I'm gonna work at McDonald's I'm going to save up $1 each week, or I'm going to save up $10 each week until I can go on a vacation. And then don't even make it that extravagant. Go, hey, listen, you know what? I'm going to take a 3-day vacation. Instead of taking a 2-week vacation, take a 3-day vacation. It's the same thing. But you could do that more often. So sometimes less is more. So we want to, move forward. Make sure you keep your freedom. Stay out of the system if you can. Unfortunately, there's sometimes there's no way out of it. But the bottom line is, if you're in trouble with the system and you're on probation, then make sure you stay clean. Stay clean, stay out of it. A lot of these people, they don't know any better, and they're never going to realize. So that's why, if you want to make a change and you're living in a bad neighborhood, it's not going to change. It's a bad neighborhood for a reason. Over and over and over and over and over and over again, it's been a bad neighborhood. It's been a bad neighborhood since the 70s. It's been a bad neighborhood since the 80s. It's been a bad neighborhood since the 90s. It's been a bad neighborhood since the 2000s. So if you're a parent out there and you don't want your kids going to a bad school, try to find a way to get them switched into a different school. There's always a way and an answer. You just got to keep trying. And if you decide, hey, listen, you decide you want to make a difference, then get out of the bad area. Work somewhere else. Even if it's at a McDonald's, make it the McDonald's in, I don't know, whatever, the where the mansions are, or whatever, or the middle class is. Make it the McDonald's there, and then you might land up, be nice to people. You might find the right person. You see the right person, not talk to everybody, but hey, listen, this guy, he's got a nice car outside. He's got a Mercedes Benz. This guy's got a Land Rover. He's one person. They got a nice car. This guy doesn't have a nice car, but he seems pretty smart. Because some people, they don't like to show their money. So you might, be surprised. You might go up to somebody that's driving a Hyundai Sonata, $10,000 car, but he might have $50 million in his bank account. But nobody's going to give you nothing. You got to make somebody care. You got to show them you're worth something. But at the end of the day, the world is changing. So you could be the hardest worker. You can have all the skills in the world. You could be able to do everything. Baseball. You can play. Whatever. Music. You can sing. You can dance. You could do it all. But if you don't have the right connection, then you're not going to be, famous. But at the end of the day, famous and celebrities and millions of dollars, that at that point, you're looking up to something that's not a reality. You got to think that there's so many millions of people out there. So you want to figure out what you want in life. If you want to dream big, then do it. And you know what? It doesn't matter how you get there. Life is not fair. So, like I said, it doesn't matter the way you do it, but it matters what you believe in. That's how you make a change. If you believe in something, if you're willing to do all sorts of things to get somewhere better, then make sure when you get there that you're, a man or a woman of their word, that you're actually going to do it. Make a contract with yourself, a reminder, something that you're not going to forget, that say, listen, you know what, it's time, I got this far. Because you got to realize, every person out there, except for the people that were born into money, that have a big family, that have millions and millions of dollars, that, it doesn't really matter. But every person that came up from nothing, they had to have somebody else to back them up. If there wasn't somebody else to back them up, you would basically, they wouldn't be the person they were. And a lot of people forget where they came from. I'm a mogul now. I'm very big, and I'm all over the place. I'm international. I live in the United States. I make calls. I make emails. I do the video conferences, all that stuff. But I have to stay in the United States because that's where my country is. I don't leave the country. But basically, when you're talking about, basically, where was I?